Okay, so this presentation I actually did, I think last summer, or maybe the summer before, I think last summer, about the appraisal addendum, but it's, you know, one of the poor written addendums that we have. I feel like it's kind of written backwards. So you actually, you know, for you to understand it is important to us, but you'll find that it's equally as important to understand how to explain it to listing agents, because a lot of times they don't understand it. But what you're dealing with is the part of the third-party financing addendum that reads, if the buyer's lender, you know, that makes the property contingent upon appraisal, basically. And this slideshow is available on Workplace, so it's always out there, and it's a quick reference whenever you're writing one of these up if you need to go back and look at it. But there's 3 different options basically within the addendum. The first one means that you're waiving the whole appraisal, meaning no matter how low it comes in, you're still buying the property. This one you're probably rarely going to use, but I just see it used now and then. So, you know, it would be, make sure that you've explained that to the buyers, because you basically check this, you have no grounds for terminating or renegotiating a contract based on appraisal when you check box number 1. Box number 2 is what you guys are going to use most often. And this basically gives you a floor on your on the appraisal amount and the amount of difference you're willing to bring to the table. So the conversation it's easiest to have with your buyers is, you know, how much cash do you have available, or are you willing to bring to the table if the appraisal comes in low? You're buying a $500,000 property and they say we've got 10 grand that we're willing to bring to the table if the appraisal comes in low. Then this number right here would be $490. It's basically your contract price less whatever cash you're willing to bring there. And you're saying, as long as the property appraises for this bottom line or above, we're good. We're going to go forward. We're going to bring that extra cash and not have the appraisal contingency, but it still gives you that floor of, like, if it appraises for below, for, you know, I'm using the $500 sales price. If it appraises for below $490 and your clients are only willing to bring that $10,000, then they have that contingency to either terminate or renegotiate. So again, this just kind of describes how you do that.
So I want to run through this real quick. So if this property is listed at, let's do an example of this. The property is listed at 365.
This says it's listed at 350.
Okay, if it's 350, they're going to cover.
Buyers are going to offer 365 because they want to go over list price. You're in multiple offers.
Yep.
They say they'll cover up to $10,000 in difference between the contract and appraised price. So you would put 355 in that blank.
Gotcha.
Whatever your contract price is minus what you're willing to bring is what you put there.
Yeah, and this is really important to know, not just to know, but you're also, you're going to have to explain this to a lot of listing agents, because this is so poorly written. Before this came out, we actually had one written by an attorney that was much easier to read. Yeah.
Yeah, and I said that as you walked off, Ryan, I said, you're going to not only have to know this, because not only are you going to have to explain it to your buyers, because your buyers are going to say, wait a minute, what am I signing? How does this work? Because the number that you've been talking to them about is most likely this $10,000 number. You've been talking to them about the difference number. And, you know, in a perfect world, that's how I would have had this addendum written, to put in the difference that you're willing to bring. But they kind of have it written backwards, where they want you to put in the floor of the appraisal, and then you'll make up the difference from there. So fortunately, that's what Tribe gave us. Box 3 basically says, and you're not likely to use this one very much. It says that this is to cover a buyer putting up a large down payment, probably, that doesn't want to pay too much for the property, were the appraisal to come in drastically short, and the lender's underwriter is still going to approve them because their down payment is so big. So, you know, if your people are buying a $500,000 property and they're putting down $250,000, you know, say the property appraises for 400, you know, your buyers are still bringing enough to make more than 20%. There's a chance that the loan still gets approved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or maybe my numbers aren't right there, but if you've got a buyer that's got a really big down payment, and you're worried that there's a chance that there's not good comps and this appraisal could come in really goofy and low, talk to the lender first about how they want you to proceed here, because this gives you an amount of days that the buyer can terminate if the appraisal comes in less than a certain amount.
Yeah, so this
it's
is
kind of
the
same as number 2.
This is going to be a lot more prevalent on luxury properties where, you know,
luxury and maybe like ranch or, you know, something like that. That's going to be hard to comp and not, you know, real big down payments.
Yeah, and you know, so like a lot of the luxury properties are sold off market, so it's important to have this at your disposal.
Yes.
One thing I want to ask about, and I think we've kind of come to this before, is the appraisal addendum is not covered under FHA and VA, right?
That's not correct. That's my understanding.
Yeah, if anybody knows any different, I'd like to know, but I don't think you're going to be able to use this for FHA and VA loans. So.
Right. That's my understanding too, is that even if you did the appraisal addendum, a VA or an FHA lender would probably not accept the contract, right?
I think so. We'll get this confirmed with the lender, but I'm pretty sure. I'll find out. So this was what Sunny had wrote. You know,
this is what I wrote. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah. So like in that, when we were putting that email out on when you're submitting multiple offer, this should be in there, right? Because this is going to explain to the seller's agent what they're getting into, because this is confusing stuff, guys. And this is why we're going to shine if we practice these, if we employ these practices.
And, you know, the catalyst for doing this was actually, I think it was Isabel maybe, last year had submitted the appraisal addendum with one of her offers. And I think she said it wasn't accepted because the listing agent didn't understand it and didn't understand how it was written. And so they were basically just kind of scared out of working with the deal, when really she was, you know, offering to bring money to the table. So this is kind of the language that we came up with, that you can literally like copy and paste and just paste in your numbers to an email to help explain it to the listing agent. So you can literally come in here to this slideshow that's in Workplace, copy and paste this, plug in your own numbers, and send it to the listing agent. And that's it.
Yeah. So, you know, if you want to stop the share, Sunny, a couple things that I want to go over with regard to this is, like, you know, we're constantly trying to keep ourselves educated, keep you guys educated to be the best that we can possibly be. And, you know, this year is a prime example of that. Our numbers are outstanding. I think we're about to get contracted and close for $80 million for the year. And that doesn't include a lot of the agents that came over, you know, during the year. So those are really strong numbers. You know, Sunny and Kelly and I did a exercise the other day where we looked at our stats, and here's what they are. And this is what you can tell, you know, buyers or sellers that are thinking of choosing you, is that on average, we have 6 times the volume of an average Austin agent. Okay. And we eliminated all the agents that don't do any deals. Okay. So, or that number would obviously, you know, be skewed. Our listings sell 23 days faster than the average agent. And that's really something to be proud of. And our list price to contract price ratio is 3 percentage points higher than the average Austin agent. Okay. And I'm really proud of those stats. And I think a lot of that has to do with our commitment to continuing education, not the kind that just gets our license renewed, but, you know, really studying these practices. You know, Sunny and I have been doing this, you know, with my listings for 8 years. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm becoming a little bit out of practice, and she knows a lot more about this than I do. But, you know, we have studied this. We've talked with other agents. We've done everything we can to try to give our clients a leg up, and these stats just prove that. So congratulations to everyone for bringing these numbers in and just being so much, higher, above, and better than the average agent. No one wants to be average, and we're anything but average. So